Hi, this is MJ at Lioness Publications. I decided to do a risk yield and a delta core transient chart today, and this is on Microsoft, the corporation. The reason I picked Microsoft is that it had a great earnings report after 4 p.m. tonight, and its stock has gone up probably about 8%. So I just wanted to touch on this and give you another view as to what these charts can be used for. So in this case, let's take a look at the risk yield first. And we can see that's mostly, just from a visual clue, it's mostly red. So there's more activity sort of coming down than there is going up. Now, we have the dark red, which is risk, and it's the core risk. We have dark blue, which is the core yield. So as expected, yield would be more beneficial versus risk would be more challenging. Now, if we take a look, the light blue is the transient for the yield, and the pinkish color is the transient for the risk. As noted, more red, more at the bottom of the chart than up at the top. We can see that we've got a few little down spikes here, and only really one significant up spike. So let's get a little bit more detail and come down to the core transient. In this case, the delta core transient takes the core and transit and in effect gets the delta. So this gives us a better line for where the core is tracking and where the transient is tracking. Now, if we take a look at the core, we can see that it comes down. We've got two sort of down peaks at the beginning of the year, and then it starts to rise up. And then it slowly starts to sink back down again. On the transient, we can see a few peaks here, and significantly, we can see one right at the 8-1 period. 8-1 is pretty much where we are right now. Now, I want to point out that a transient peak is usually something that's short-lived. So I wonder about this as I look at it. I say, is this going to go down in the next 2 weeks? Is there something else in the report that is not as promising? Did something else happen? And I should note that you really need to also look at my charts for the USA, because if the USA shows that the country is doing well, then you have to base this on, in effect, the United States charts up and down peaks. But in pretty much, this is saying that at the beginning of the year, this company might have been doing worse than other companies, or worse in general. And then it's got a few peaks. Now, as noted, this peak going up and down, it's a transient. Again, it's not long-term. Significantly, if we come over to this 5-1 period, we can see we've got a nice little period where it starts coming up, but it doesn't get up above 0, which is in effect the equilibrium point. And then it just sort of slowly sinks down and just sort of, staggers along. We've got a few other transient peaks here, so that could indicate some other, up movement. Now, if we come back to this 5-1 and we sort of track it, it's coming up to about 7-1 where it's still going up. And then at that point, we actually have a transient start taking over. And it could be that this is going to push it up. But how valid is the push-up? And again, this is something that you decide when you look at stocks, but this helps to identify, well, is it really a company that's going to be in for the long term, or should I look at selling this within a few days? I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day.